It is time for our afternoon sessions at Big Talk from Small Libraries 2026. And we have another presentation from university. Kylie, Riordan, and Nichole Novak from the Illinois Institute of Technology. They're going to talk about how they have been doing making community partnerships. Someone mentioned partnerships earlier with their students, between their students and the community. So I will hand it over to you both to take it away and tell us about everything you've been doing at your library.
Great, thank you. So thank you to everyone for joining us today for Beyond the Stacks Creative Campus Partnerships for Student Success. I'll start with a brief overview of the university. So next slide. The Illinois Institute of Technology is a private, nonprofit, STEM-focused school located in the Bronzeville neighborhood of Chicago, Illinois, and offers everything from bachelor's to PhD programs. As of the fall 2025 semester, we had approximately 7,500 students representing 117 countries. And the Paul V. Galvin Library is the main library at Illinois Tech on the main campus. Next, please. So the outreach initiatives that we'll be talking about today focus on creating welcoming, supportive spaces for all students, connecting students to campus resources, services, and communities. And all these initiatives are led by the Programming, Outreach, Engagement, and Marketing Committee at the library. It's otherwise known as POEM. And I am the POEM convener. And I think with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kylie.
Yeah, so one of the ways that we engage in campus collaboration is through our partnerships with our Career Services Department at Illinois Tech. So just a little bit of background on this. Since the fall of 2023, the Galvin Library has hosted a Doing Company Research Workshop in collaboration with our Career Services Department every semester to help students get prepared for those career fairs. So the workshops are designed to help students learn about important library resources and databases for doing research on companies. It helps them learn research strategies for doing research on those specific companies, and getting some contextual information on how to do research on private and public companies and how that differs a little bit. It's been a really successful partnership, and the event has been generally pretty well attended by students. So how did we get here? It started when one of our librarians met a member of our career services team at an event, and they chatted and discussed about the importance of library resources, you know, as one does when one is at a campus event. The librarian then relayed that interest to Nichole and I, and we ended up attending a career services department meeting and decided that a workshop to promote library resources would be beneficial for both of us. I had some career services experience from a previous role, and so I was really excited to be able to bring that here to Illinois Tech. A LibGuide did already exist, but needed to be updated. So with the career services input, we updated that LibGuide and planned a workshop kind of around the resources that we had there. And since the fall of 2023, this workshop has been given every semester with both in-person and online modalities, depending on the semester. So we have a couple of different ways that we promote our events at the Illinois Tech Galvin Library. We generally promote both internally and externally. So internally, that means promoting on our social media pages, posting signage around the library, adding the event to the library's website, as well as posting it on the monitors. We have TV electronic monitors throughout the library. So we publish promotional materials on there as well. Externally, that generally means sharing promotion on the university's twice weekly newsletter, cross-posting on the Office of Campus Life newsletter, and most recently, publishing the event on Illinois Tech's new student engagement platform. In addition, this event was also cross-promoted through Career Services and their social media platforms as well. So a little bit about the actual workshop for those who are curious. A few notes on how the details of how the workshop runs. There are three main components. One, we walk through some of the library's databases like Business Source Ultimate, Mergent Intellect, and Privco. And we talk about search strategies specific to these databases. And then we talk a little bit about some more generic strategies for searching through internet sources, looking at companies' websites, looking through news sites, things like that. And then we talk about the difference between searching for information on public companies versus how we search for information on private companies. There's time at the end for searching, and I give the students an exit ticket survey at the end that kind of asks what their next steps are as they get prepared for the career fairs. My Touchpoint colleague with Career Services attends these webinars as well, and he's there to kind of field any career services specific questions that come up in those sessions. So in terms of attendance, as you can see, the turnout for the events has varied over the years. That first year, so that fall 2023 and spring 2024, Career Services ran a program where students who attended a certain amount of Career Services sponsored workshops and programs were allowed to join the career fair ahead of everyone else and get an early chance to talk with recruiters. So students received points for this program when they attended our workshop. So we saw a little bit of a decrease in student attendance in this workshop after that specific program was no longer offered. However, we do continue to see decent attendance at these workshops. As you can see, we have also offered various opportunities for the workshops. Some semesters we've offered it more than once, and some semesters we have offered both online and in-person opportunities. It all just depended on our availability and when the career fair was scheduled that semester. So for example, this semester we only had one session online because the career fair was scheduled much earlier in the semester than normal, and the weather in Chicago has been a nightmare this winter. And so we thought that a single virtual session would probably be the best option for this time around. When it comes to feedback, I have only started collecting feedback from students in the past year or so. I have students fill out an exit ticket survey, like I mentioned at the end of the session, asking what their next steps are. And then after the career fair, I have sent a follow-up email asking about their confidence in using library resources after. So I asked how confident they are with that, with 5 being most confident, and all of the responses were 4s and 5s. And when asked what the most important takeaways were, here were a couple of their responses. So it's been an overwhelmingly positive response to these workshops. Overall, I'm really happy with our partnership with Career Services. The workshops are certainly beneficial to students, but the resulting collaborations have been outstanding. Career Services advertise our interview booths, so we have these private booths that can be booked for a phone call or an interview or something like that. And Career Services advertises for those booths in their department and often sends students our way. Career Services hosted a resume workshop for our library student workers last spring. And this semester, we worked together to build a resource page for the career fairs full of specific company and industry research on companies that were actually attending the career fairs. So it's been a really, really fruitful partnership so far. Okay, before we move on to the next one, I just want to I thought I heard something. I just want to pause and see if anybody has any questions before we move on.
Yeah, if anybody does have any questions, go ahead and type into that questions section, and we can grab them. Anything you were wondering about how they're doing things at their library.
And we'll also have time at the end for some more questions as well. So if nobody has any right now, that's fine.
Nothing's popping up right now. I can't see when people are typing, but if something does, I will jump in and let you know.
Perfect. Okay, let's talk about our next collaboration then.
Okay, so our next initiative is a wellness-focused initiative. A little bit about the library itself. Galvin Library is just 2 floors. It's essentially a giant rectangle stacked on top of another one. Most of our study space is on the upper level, which has 16-foot high ceilings, an open floor plan, and unfortunately no individual study rooms. So, we noticed that some of our neurodivergent students have some challenges when studying in the library, specifically sensory overload. So I've been thinking about that, and we're not getting a new library anytime soon. We're not renovating the library anytime soon. So what were some small things that we could do to help these students? Illinois Tech is fortunate to be a member of the Reaching Across Illinois Library System, otherwise known as RAILS, and they have a My Library Is grant program. And so I decided to submit a grant proposal for some things for our neurodivergent students. Next slide, please. And we received a $1,500 grant from RAILS. And with that money, I was able to purchase books on topics such as autism, Asperger's, neurodivergency. It's a huge topic. There are a lot of things that fall under that umbrella. But I was able to add some print books to our collection, also purchase some Happy Lights for seasonal affective disorder, and then items that we would put into kits. We were calling Tranquility kits. So each kit has disposable foam earplugs, sanitizing hand wipes, a selection of affirmation and wellness cards, and then just some fun stuff like fidget spinners, marble maze mats, stress balls, spiky sensory rings, and worry stones. Next slide, please. So once we got the money, we were able to purchase all the items. I brought all this to POEM, and we started to brainstorm ways to raise awareness about these new resources. We also reached out to psychology faculty, as well as the Office of Student Life and Student Health and Wellness Center staff to let them know about these new resources. We decided to hold an event so that students could see and touch the books, the lights, and the kits. It's one thing for them to read about it, but to be able to just come in and take a look at the books, pick up the kits, see how the lights work, I thought would be beneficial. We do a lot of events, particularly in the beginning of the semester, and also students are trying to get settled. October of 2025 was also super busy for some reason last year. So I really wanted to do something in the fall semester, and I was sort of looking at the calendar and came across National Stress Awareness Day, and I thought that would be a good fit for the launch of these items. Next slide. So Kylie already mentioned some of our, the way that we market things. Social media posts, flyers, Illinois Tech's twice weekly online newsletter, and then posting to the new student engagement platform. Next, please. National Stress Awareness Day, if you don't know, is on November 5th. And so that's the day that we had the event. We brought kits, lights, and books for the students to see, and if they wanted to check something out, they could. But we knew we couldn't have just an event like this picture shows here with just stuff sitting on a table. Like, that's not a lot of fun, right? So to pair it with stress awareness, we decided to add activities such as coloring and button making. These two activities are hugely popular at Illinois Tech. We also provided snacks, and the event ran for about 2 hours. So we had about 25 students and staff, because it was open to everyone, attend. But a quarter of the attendees stayed for the entire event, and it was initially scheduled to run for about an hour, but everyone was having such a good time that I was reluctant to shut down the party, right? So, and I had time, so I let the event go for closer to 2 hours. And students really expressed appreciation for the event. By having it in November, it was a nice break for them, they said, before really having to buckle down and get through the end of the semester and finals. We did have books and kits checked out during the event, And while the resources are for everyone, I think they do make our neurodivergent population feel seen and heard. Next slide. So we have a question.
About the stress event there that you did, though. I'd like to jump in first. Someone wants to, if you could explain, what are the happy lights?
Oh, so they're for seasonal affective disorder. It's sort of like you turn on the light, you position it, it gives like almost like sunlight, similar to sunlight, because it's very dark and dreary in Chicago during the winter. So it's and helps boost a person's mood. Can help like boost their mood, give them sort of like a shot of like fake sunlight almost.
Nice. Okay. I could use those. Yeah.
And it looks like a little iPad, I know, but.
Oh, that's what that is. The white square box.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. Huh, okay.
Yeah. So the white sort of iPad looking thing is the happy light, and then the tranquility kit is next to it.
Okay. Thank you.
So our first question for the group is, what collaborative initiatives is your library currently implementing? If you would like to share, you can go to the Padlet and post your
I'll leave that slide up for a bit so everyone can get there. Type in the URL there. And while that's going on, we did have a couple other questions that popped in, of course. Someone has a comment. When I worked in the library in Alaska, the base checked out sunlight lamps to soldiers and civilian employees from fall to spring. They were very popular. We had several set up in the library as well. And someone wants to know, how long do you allow the kits to circulate?
So right now, because everything is new, both the kits and the lights are in library use only. But I think I'm going to change that next fall and let them circulate outside of the library. So they can use it. So it's a 4-hour in library use only checkout. And they can renew it if they need it longer.
Okay. Right. So please do go to that Padlet URL there, the link, to answer the question. I'm going to do this here.
It looks like we do have a couple people working on it right now, so that's perfect.
And I've shared the link into the question section too to everyone, so you should be able to grab it there.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, and there's 2 columns of questions on the Padlet for right now. Just worry about answering question 1 for now. We're going to come back to question 2.
Oops. Library, there we go.
All right, I'm going to pull up the Padlet really fast. If anybody needs that link again, I'm happy to pull it back up. Can we all see this okay?
Yes, yep.
Okay, great. So we collaborate with our SGA and Student Affairs Office to provide events and programming like trivia and karaoke nights. Oh, very fun. Oh, a collaborative duck hatching program with a local 4-H. Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, love that.
Okay, look, ESL classes with the local community college, a seed library with a nature center. Seed libraries are so fun.
Mhm.
A knitting group with
I love
local
it.
volunteers.
Yeah, I love the idea of the knitting group.
Yeah. We'll give it another couple of minutes and then we'll keep, people are still typing, I can see, so.
Mm.
Oh, collaborate with PBS for SLP story time, extension office for all sorts of programs, doing stuff with 4-H for summer, fun. Circulating snowshoes, community giving tree. Wow, these are all such cool collaborations. A local community closet, excellent.
Yep.
Animal shelter.
Yeah, dogs in the library, I love that. That's so nice for everyone involved. Oh, a bike repair partnership. That's super cool.
Yeah, we did that several years ago because so many
Yeah.
students ride their bikes to campus.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Huge attendance. Love that.
Yeah.
Local conservation district doing erosion trailer and other soil activities. Excellent. These are all so cool. I want to stop and read every single one of these. These are so cool. But y'all keep adding stuff. I'm gonna move on to our next bit, but keep adding and we can look through these again here in a little bit. Thank you so much for sharing. Nichole, do you have anything else on your end?
No, I can toss it back to you.
Okay. So our final example of how we engage in campus and community collaboration is the library card drive that we hosted in collaboration with the local public library branch. So the Galvin Library, which is the library at Illinois Tech, hosted an event in which the local public library set up a table for students wanting to obtain a public library card. Students were invited to the Galvin Library, our library, the university library, to sign up, and all they had to bring with them was a valid form of ID and proof of their address, and they were able to leave with their library cards that same day. So our user spaces coordinator reached out to the local branch of the Chicago Public Library about hosting a library card drive for students in our library. There's a local public library bench like a couple of blocks just off of campus. They were very excited about the possibility and the potential partnership. And after some back and forth between us and their branch manager, we were able to determine a date that worked for everyone. And that date ended up working out really great because it was during National Library Week. And so we were able to kind of market it as a celebratory event as part of that. So we designed the marketing materials, which included flyers, promotion across campus, all of those same kind of promotional practices we were talking about. And the librarians from the Chicago Public Library also brought some swag with them to give out at the event. So by the end of the event, 26 students received Chicago Public Library cards, and even a few staff members received or renewed their cards. The Chicago Public Library librarians were thrilled with the turnout and ended up issuing more cards than they were initially anticipating. So that was awesome. And while the event was a great success, we did learn a couple of things along the way. We learned that the Chicago Public Library didn't accept PO box numbers as forms of address, but students live in dorms with PO box numbers. So we were able to students were able to pull up a bill displaying their physical dorm address on it, and that ended up working fine. But if and when we host an event like this in the future, we're going to work out a better system so that students can better come prepared and not have to worry about pulling things up that they weren't prepared to bring with them. The day of the event, two librarians from the public library came to the Galvin library and set up a table. Students were able to walk up to the table, show their ID, and get signed up for the card. The event ran for about 2 hours, and snacks were provided for the event by the library. And in the end, hosting the event really helped make the library feel approachable and student-focused. The librarian-student interactions also functioned as important touch points with the library, strengthening the students' social and academic support network. Hosting the event also helped frame the library as a space that supports growth beyond just the classroom, which really fosters a sense of belonging in an intellectual community and helped foster a greater sense of belonging in the local community as well. So this event allowed us to connect students to resources that we don't have, things like, a wider variety of fiction books, DVDs and movies, audiobooks, things like that. In the end, it was a great event, and we can't wait to host it again in the future. So that was just kind of a quick run through of that. So we're going to actually jump back into that Padlet. The link will be the same. So you can keep posting on that first question, or you can answer this next question, which is, what's one simple way that you could build stronger collaboration initiatives that will benefit your patrons? And I'll leave that link up again for a little bit for everyone to be able to get to.
Yep. You can grab the link from where I shared it in the chat in the question section there. It's a nice, easy link to type into, though. Or waiting for some more answers to come into that second question. Just remember, everyone, if you do have any questions about what Kylie and Nichole have done with their programs, definitely type those questions into the question section about the earlier, or what the library card sign up that Kylie just described about. We did have some more leftover questions about the kits, the stress kits. People are very stressed out nowadays and want to do this, apparently, I think. What's the average cost of putting together one of those kits?
Oh, that's a good question.
If you know.
I don't know off the top of my head. I purchased everything from Amazon, and I did use all $1,500 because I also purchased because I assume things are going to get lost or walk away. Also, the earplugs and the wipes we obviously don't want back, so I needed to have backups for all of that so that I can't replenish the kits. I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah, you can look up those happy lights and things up on Amazon, yeah.
Yeah.
And I assume this is asking also, do you know how long do you plan on circulating the kits outside the library when you begin? Is it going to be on the same, how long do you have any thought, have you planned that yet?
My initial thought was maybe 3 days, but I'm gonna have to talk to tech services because I don't want to make things too unnecessarily complicated for them, and see if they have any thoughts about that. At least 3 days, potentially up to 2 weeks is my thoughts.
Yeah, and you have some sort of cleaning process you do with when the items were coming back, when they're returned, the items that are not used up.
Oh,
like cleaning the fidgets and the whatever. Yeah.
We have not at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But also each kit comes with a wipe, so if students want to wipe things down, they have a wipe to do so.
Right. Okay, looks like we got some answers coming into that second question of yours.
Yeah, we've gotten so we have partnering with local schools through classroom library visits allow students to access a wider range of books that support both their studies and personal interests. Yeah, coordinating with teachers and curating materials that align with classroom units. And the library can provide study aids, project resources, and engaging reading options. Definitely. Yeah, in small rural communities, this collaboration strengthens connections between the library and schools, encourages a love of reading, and ensures students have the resources they need to succeed academically while exploring topics that interest them. I love that. Yeah, attending occasional board meetings for other groups that might provide similar events, definitely.
Mm.
Partnering with local schools to hang posters and place events in school announcements. Yeah. Well, yeah, someone said because our community no longer has a local newspaper, we have been putting together a community newsletter to share local events, community calendars, school and church activities. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is like,
Yeah, that's happening too often, I hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
The local newspaper's not continuing.
Collaborating with the museum down the road to encourage more people to use our archive room for extended research on topics they find at the local museum. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, partnering with the Chamber of Commerce. Get out there. I love that. Make sure to prioritize taking time off-site to meet partners where they are. Definitely. Start building relationship before you need something whenever possible. Absolutely. I need a sign that says that. Just get out there.
Because I think when we forge these partnerships, then we have created people who can also raise awareness about what we're doing and can advocate for us,
Yeah.
spaces where we are not. So, yeah. I love that. Get out there also.
Yeah, that's going to stick with me. I like it.
Yeah.
Have local schools create library displays. Yeah, that encourages library engagement and builds strong connections between students and the public library. Definitely. Yeah, collaborating with Boys and Girls Club lets you have bigger programs for the whole community. Definitely. Yeah, these are some awesome, and they keep coming in for that. What collaborative initiatives are you currently implementing? And these look so fun. So we will share this Padlet as well, so that everyone can see all of the answers with it.
We do have someone that added one into the question section because it's just they said we put patron info packets and welcome bags that the city gives out to new people moving into town.
Oh,
that's great.
That's awesome.
Your Chamber of Commerce, whoever is in charge of those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, keep adding stuff. There's some really great stuff popping up in here. But open it up a little bit for if there are any additional questions that anyone has. I know we've kind of been answering questions throughout, but if there's anything else, but then our contact info is up there as well. But yeah, happy to answer any other questions that might come in.
There we go. I had myself muted. All right. Thank you so much, Kylie and Nichole. Yeah, we'll leave that up there. So if anyone wants to grab their emails to chat with them later as well. Any other questions you do have about the partnerships and the things that they were doing at their library? Like I said, I do love that this is too often you think about public libraries work in the community, but not so much academics. And I don't know why, because you're part of the community too. And so many people are possibly just living in the community and coming and taking classes at the schools. So does anybody have any other questions or anything else you want to share about what you're doing at your library? You can type into the question section.
I saw one more on the Padlet that says, I'm working on kits for the local hospital, welcoming new babies to the local library. Oh,
Oh, love it.
that's so sweet.
Mm-hmm. Start them young. Start them as soon as you
Exactly.
can. Read to
Yeah.
them, put them into books, get them into using the library. I've heard about that with some, that some libraries doing that somehow through, like when that's something you can do with the daycare or when the kids start getting registered for daycare or school, that if you can get some sort of, get things to them to hand out. Obviously, you wouldn't say send me their info, but give those packets of those groups of things to whoever runs the daycare, whoever, when kids are registering for preschool in the schools, that would be a good place to. Here's information about us too. We can work with you. We can work with the school library. Yeah.
I suppose our version of that is orientation tours that come through the library, or that we go to them to get them early on in their college careers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the library should always be on the tours when you go visiting. I know when I was visiting universities, yeah. You spend a lot of time there. You don't realize it.
We hope that they do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
we also realize that there is such a thing as library anxiety, and so as much as possible we try to get them in to hopefully combat some of that. And at least we kind of feel like if they've been in there once, we hope that they're likely to come back, because
Yeah.
we've demystified the space for them.
Make it it was welcoming. It wasn't bad.
Right.
Right, exactly.
You might see a familiar face. You might feel comfortable asking that person a question because they gave you a tour, or because they were there when you pet a therapy dog a couple of months ago.
Yeah. There she is. Okay. All right, I don't see any other desperate questions coming in right now. That is fine. Yeah, that's great. But if you do want to reach out to Kylie and Nichole, there is their email contact info there. So thank you both so much. I am going to not do that. Bring presenter control back to my screen.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks so
Yes,
much.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Make sure
Hope everyone has a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you.